To a channel update on the Metal and Wood channel. Today, damn, I don't even know what day it is. Let's think about this. It's a Saturday, early June, first Saturday in June, and we are at 969 subscribers. I really don't understand how things take so long on YouTube to grow, but I'm sure it's all about content, algorithms, and all that happy crap. So what's going to happen at 1,000 subscribers? Now, my content has been heavy lately, especially on 660s, and I'm getting some complaints, but some of the complaints I'm getting is, well, there's a lot more than 660s. I'm like, yeah, but what if I don't have anything else on hand right now? What if everything's sold out? Or it's not all sold out, it's in storage. I don't have access to the storage right this second in time. But people are like, nobody wants to buy that junk, and I'm like, well, thank God I'm not doing this for a living. It's just kind of a hobby and something to do and something to check into. Basically, it was a challenge. The first chainsaws I got for myself and to sell a few and just see what's what. I needed some chainsaws on my property, and I could have used all my stills, but I was like, man, if I use my stills and beat them up and drop some trees on them and stuff, then I'll be pissed off because I'd taken such good care of them. And I'm like, nah, I'll use some junky, cheap Chinese chainsaws. But of course, I knew what I was getting into, and sure enough, the first ones were junky, cheap Chinese chainsaws. So somebody's like, oh, should we order from you? These are comments I'm referring to. Should we order from you? You're telling us we shouldn't just buy our own damn Chinese chainsaws on the internet? Well, I'm trying to tell you, you can. You can order one from Austin. You can order one from Ogenus. You can order one from wherever else. Alibaba, whatever. But you're going to get a chainsaw that you're going to pay an enormous shipping price for. By the way, it's cheaper to order two, basically, for the shipping. So you're going to get a chainsaw, and most likely you're going to get something that somebody didn't care what they were doing when they put it together. They don't know how it functions. And they know that it's coming across the world to somebody who they'll never see, and you've got no recourse. What are you going to do? Call them up and say that you want your money back? Tell them to send you another one? We send you parts next order. You got to order another one to get the parts from the first one, and then you have another problem. No, man, I'm serious. I don't care if you order from me or not. It's okay. It doesn't matter. They're going to eventually sell. When I get a bunch on hand, I don't need to order anymore until I don't have a bunch on hand anymore. You see how that works? So if somebody doesn't believe me on the service that I'm actually providing, part of a hobby, more or less, then it's okay. Yeah, you can order your own chainsaws. Look at the reviews. I'm not going to mention names, but there's two major companies that are selling to people, at least in the United States. I don't know how it is around the world, but I mean, the problems aren't great. And then here's another thing. When they say, oh, we import this particular part from this particular country, I got that bullshit flag I grab, and I throw out that bullshit flag, because there ain't no damn reason why some Chinese people are going to import something from some other country. They've got three qualities of most of these parts, and the best of the best quality is being used professionally. Matter of fact, that leads me to the topic of the big name brand. They shut down a lot of the manufacturing in Germany, right? You may not know this, but I'm telling you this as a fact, and I'm trying my darndest to get the addresses and the proof and the videos. All you got to do is type in that name for China, and what's the name of that city? Qingdong, I don't know, whatever. It comes up. It comes right up. They got their own manufacturing company in that city, and they got their name on it in China, but they also have a non-disclosure contract with 3 factories in China. And those 3 factories are not just selling to this one brand, they're selling to other places. So if you got 3 factories contracted to sell to this one brand, don't you think that there's other chainsaws that are getting the parts from that factory? You think they got 2 or 3 different machines and 2 or 3 different levels? Oh, we're going to make the junky cheap Chinese chainsaw parts over here, but the German company that has us contracted, we're going to make their parts over here. Well, we're going to make the parts over here way better than the parts over here. Oh, Oh, that's the good steel. Don't use it for the junky cheap Chinese chainsaw stuff. You got to use the good metal for the German factory, the German company. Anyway, folks, I love your redneck stupid comments about junky cheap Chinese crap. Now, I fully understand the political issue. The political issue is interesting, and excuse me for my pig snort. I used to not like anything made in China back in the late 90s. Everything that was, like, for example, tools. Porter cable was my favorite woodworking tool. I had to have Porter cable made in Jackson, Tennessee. And I wouldn't buy anything made in China. Nothing. My friend Blair, my dear best friend Blair at the time, I wish I had contact with my buddy. He moved off to North Carolina from Atlanta, and I just hadn't seen him and talked to him. And I've reached out to him a few times, but life changes and people move on, I guess. So Blair is telling me, Steve, this attitude you got against China with all these things that you won't buy, or you won't even consider buying because they're Chinese. It's a global economy, Steve. It's a global market out there, and some products are made in China now. This was like a long time ago. This is late 90s. Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s. And he was absolutely right. And right now, why would you pay $1,500 freaking dollars for a chainsaw that you could pay a lot less for? Now, you buy one on the internet, you're taking your chances. I'm serious. You could do it. That's cool. You can read the reviews. What's going to happen? Luckily, there's a lot of parts on eBay, so you can learn how to work on your own chainsaws. That's cool. You can turn it into a hobby. But if you want a good, reliable chainsaw, you saw me with 18 660s, okay? Truth of the matter is, I'm getting them from a factory that I've never had problems with on reliability. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not exaggerating on this. In 2 years, I've been getting some of these 660s to people using them professionally who will have an open mind and believe me, or all kind of know me enough to realize, maybe the guy's telling the truth. Maybe the guy's telling the truth. I'll try his junky cheap Chinese chainsaw that he says is not really a junky cheap Chinese chainsaw. It's just Chinese, and it is a chainsaw, but one of these 18 saws has a fuel leak. I think it's a shipping damage. I mean, it doesn't just automatically leak fuel unless it's got a crack in the fuel tank or whatever. And I think it's got shipping damage. So when you order your chainsaw, which when I ordered one at a time, checking out all these different chainsaws and trying to learn, I lost a lot of money. And every damn chainsaw that came one at a time for me was a chainsaw that had problems. It was either, maybe it was as simple as the spark plug cap wasn't pushed all the way into the spark plug, maybe, or the ignition coil was no good, or the spark was no good. They don't always test these. The saws that I'm getting are pretty much tested before they leave the factory. I'm getting them from relatively large factories that really kind of get pissed off that I may only order 10 or 20. They're like, if you had 500, we'd hurry up and get your order going. But we are filling orders for 500 to kill the rainforests in South and Central America, and Indonesia, and India. I forgot to mention India the other day. So these places that I'm dealing with don't have your internet saws. They don't have representatives in the United States like Wagner in Pennsylvania. Wagner in Pennsylvania's got FarmerTech. FarmerTech has come a long way. FarmerTech itself doesn't have very good customer service, not even for me. The lady I work with, I think she's a wonderful young lady, but she's got her limitations. For example, if I order a dozen 880 chainsaws, and if I'm stupid enough to order them with that T-handle pull, their T-handle pulls don't work. By about the third to fifth pull, that shit's no longer attached to the rope. The rope pulls through all the way through the rubber. The rubber separates below the T. There's two types of plastic, or there's a rubber and a plastic. And if I ordered a dozen and they're all like that, now I got a dozen starter assays that got no handle on them, and they got a pull rope but no handle. So you only can order the D if you're going to get a 880. But that's one of the main faults with their 880s. Now, when I built this dozen chainsaws, or had them built for me, because at the time I knew less than I know now about building chainsaws, but we threw away 30 parts. 30 parts in a dozen. and we got other parts that were not manufactured with defects. So you've got a problem out there still, but I have found a solution, or I have found some Chinese chainsaws that are not, problematic. And lots of people aren't believing me, and they're leaving comments that are like, this one guy, he just said, you just got Chinese garbage or whatever. Now, I'm not going to leave comments up like that, because the viewer of the channel sees that, and I've got it left up there, and it's like negating everything I'm trying to tell you. Now, it is true right now still that you order one chainsaw at a time from China, and you're going to get reamed, because it's going to either be broken or it's going to be flawed in some way. So that's where I have a service. I go through all these chainsaws. I run them. I was running 2 tanks of gas. Now I'm just going to offer a 2-year guarantee with 1 tank of gas. I have to make sure they work. And I'm working with somebody right now where we've got basically a way to get these chainsaws moved. And the person I'm working with, he says, let's just, we don't need to run tanks of gas. And I'm like, look at that damn one over there with the fuel tank damage. You know what kind of problem that would cause us if we let that get into circulation? If we pass that chainsaw off as a certified good quality chainsaw that's going to last 2-3 years, and then they get out there and they've lost a tank of fuel in the back of the pickup truck, or they've lost, a tank of fuel, whatever, it's not what we got. We got chainsaws that, number one, they're better quality than what anyone else can get their hands on right now, because nobody's going to be getting 500 in order from maybe Wagner can, because he's getting containers. That's cool. I've ordered 1 or 2 things from him. I've talked to him before. I asked him if he wanted all my orange 880s, because I was having all those surgeries and whatnot with my medical condition. And I'll just hang on to them until somebody wants them. I'll use them for milling. And like I say, I don't really care if somebody gets these chainsaws or not. It's okay. And people don't believe me, that's okay. It's cool. I'm having fun with the channel, and I think I'm getting the word out there that I do have some chainsaws, and there are some good ones, but I'm not sure that there's anything great on the internet. Now, there's all this talk right now about a newer brand of an older brand, or a rebrand, and I was going to order some of those, and I decided, why do I need to? I was going to check them out, but I don't need to. Doesn't matter. I got my own sources. As long as I've got my own sources and they're good, I'm just going to learn. I'm going to learn better on building saws. I got a buddy that showed me how to port a little bit. Maybe I'll try to get into that. I got failing eyesight, so there's a limit to what I can do as far as all that kind of work with the porting. What else? I guess that's about it. We're at 969, so we're going to win a free 5800, and I still have the 2 5800s, so it looks like you're going to get that nice orange 5800. I'll send it with parts, but if it's someone outside the United States, I'll have to order one from the factory, and it won't be the orange, because I'm not ordering from Austin anymore, because Austin lies about their CCs, and everything that I got from Austin except for the 070 was good. Their 5800s were great. Their 60 cc's were great, but they lie. They say they're 78 cc's, which is utterly stupid. And I told them about it, and they don't want to change it. And they're what else about them? They didn't really want to get me parts. That seemed to be a little bit of a problem. They did, because I told them I wasn't ordering without parts. That's another thing. You can't just order these saws without parts. And eBay has a lot of parts for your 660s. I think they've got most of the parts for the 070s. I got them all. 070s are awesome, man. I'm going to be doing a lot of work on milling, and I got a lot of milling to do this summer. I'm trying to build a timber frame house, and somebody just pulled in this driveway here, and I don't know who it is. So, like, subscribe, stay tuned, and we're going to grow the channel. And as you can tell, it's not just about Chinese chainsaws, but it primarily is. I've been milling 20 years, and you'll see a lot about milling. And if you want to just leave junky, cheap Chinese chainsaw comments, I may delete them, because you might be wasting your thumb strokes. But if you want to have a professional, mature discussion about them, that's fine. Some of them are junky, cheap Chinese chainsaws, but some of them are freaking unreal good. I think I tapped into the unreal good ones. Peace out. Like, subscribe, share, thumbs up. Take care.